I am Kenneth Coleman. I am from Tar Bridge Apartments here in Jonesboro, Georgia. The biggest reason has been impacted by the pandemic, either losing hours at work or losing their job completely. Around March of 2020 is when it really affected us. We saw more and more tenants not being able to keep up with their rent payments. And that's, I think, around the time when a lot of businesses started to close, and just the economy in general started to slow down. So when that slowdown happened, it really affected our tenants' ability to pay their rent on time. Listening to the stories of our residents and the things that they're going through, having lost their job or lost income and not being able to pay the rent, you can imagine how stressful that is for a resident. But we also have to ask them when you're going to be able to pay the rent, because we need the rent to be able to provide this environment for you. And you're stressed out because you understand where they're coming from, but you can also see where you're coming from a landlord standpoint. Like you said, rent is a business. Property management is a business. I do have bosses and people that I have to answer to. We have goals. It does cost a lot of money to keep a community running and safe and clean. So when people don't have the ability to pay their rent, it makes it difficult to stay on top of the general overhead and things that we need to do to provide a safe living environment for the people who've trusted us to provide that for them. So I actually wrote a letter to our congressman like, hey, I'm concerned. People are not able to pay their rent. I don't know how long we'll be able to keep doing what we're able to do, or if I'll even have a job if things continue to go the way that they've been going. So it was a huge concern, especially, like I said, around March 2020, and closer we got to June and July, it was a huge issue. Nourish Hope has been a partner of ours for years. They've helped us with community events, food drives. So we had the relationship there. And I think that when the state got involved and the county received funds, and Hearts was the point of contact to receive those funds, we just continued that relationship, and Hearts to Nourish Hope jumped in and came through magnificently. I mean, I can't express how grateful I am, and I'm sure our tenants are very grateful for the service and the hard work that the people at Hearts to Nourish Hope are doing now to help those in need. Hearts to Nourish Hope has been very communicative and very responsive whenever I had a question or I needed to get some information in or needed some feedback for a resident. I haven't had any issues. I've even been able to text the CEO, Debbie Anglin, and she's been very responsive and very helpful. The processors have been very responsive and very helpful. So we haven't had any negative experiences as far as getting the information that we need and staying on top of the process for any of our residents. It's such a joy when you're able to pick up a check or multiple checks for residents who have been delinquent for 2 or 3 months. They're very stressed out, and every time you talk to them, you feel that stress, aside from your own stress that you feel from coming to work every day, just trying to make it work. So picking up a check is a very happy and joyous occasion. I'm actually here to pick up a couple of checks for some residents now. And on the way in here to talk with you, I ran into one of my residents who was concerned about being able to pay their rent. And she asked me, are you here to get a check for me? And coincidentally, I am here to pick up a check for that resident. And she was so relieved and happy, almost in tears, walking out of the door here today. Never want to put anyone out of their home, especially during a pandemic and things are out of the control of the resident and they're not really, that person that doesn't pay their rent, but they find themselves in that position. Aside from being able to help our residents, who we care about deeply. I mean, this person applied or this family applied, we've gotten to know them, we've approved their application, we moved them into their home, and we've built relationships with these people. Of course, there's a sigh of relief for them, but it's also a sigh of relief for the leasing office, because you don't want your numbers high as far as delinquency. These are the things that people pay attention to. And thank you so much to all the commissioners, all your hard work. You really stepped in and made a difference in people's lives. Thank you so much.